Previously, the Wan Clan was destroyed beneath Mount Lijing, while Xiangping fled with the ancient mirror from a relentless qi-refining cultivator. Now, the mirror unleashes its power against the pursuer, absorbs a mysterious jade pendant, and awakens a new ability. But before the Li clan can recover, the Shanyue descend upon Lichuan Pass. Let's continue with Reborn as an ancient mirror. Episode 10. Tongya descended the mountain, carefully turning Xiao Chuting's words over in his mind. What did he mean by that? Even the Xiao clan knew Tangjin's sect was marching south. Why has Qingchi sect remained indifferent, allowing Tangjin sect to run rampant across Kunlin Plains? The thought struck him and his heart sank. This is bad. Once the Wan clan is destroyed, the Ji clan will cut the Li clan off inside Mount Lijing. With our lips gone, our teeth will freeze. Xiangping will certainly use the Dharma mirror. I have no idea what has happened to him by now. I should return home as quickly as possible. Yet Kunlin Plains is engulfed in war. Taking a detour would mean a journey so long that waiting another 2 or 3 days may actually be faster. As these thoughts passed through his mind, Tongya's brows drew tighter. Then someone called loudly from behind. "Brother Tongya." Tongya turned in surprise and saw Xiaoyangling hurrying after him. Smiling, Xiaoyangling caught his hand. "We have not met in years. Brother Tongya, how could you come to the Xiao clan without seeking me out? I watched the tavern for several days and never saw either of you. By the way, where is Brother Wan?" Tongya let out a quiet sigh. "When I left home and took the shortcut through Wan territory, I did not see Wan Zhuangkai. Then I heard that Tangjin sect had marched south. Mount Lijing has likely already fallen. Brother Wan, I fear the odds are against him." Xiaoyangling froze. A trace of sorrow crossed his face, and he sighed. "Fortune and disaster can change overnight. Who can calculate the will of heaven? There is nothing we can do." The two walked through the market at the foot of the mountain, exchanging idle conversation for a time. Then Xiaoyangling's expression grew serious. "I heard that Brother Tongya formed the Jade Capital Chakra many years ago, and now stands only one step from the Spirit Embryo Chakra, the peak of embryonic breathing. Have you prepared a qi-refining cultivation art? What kind of heavenly spiritual qi do you intend to absorb?" Tongya gave a bitter smile. "I will not hide it from Brother Sh. Our family possesses only a second-grade art called the Tianyuan Qi Refining Art. It is designed for lesser azure spirit qi. We have no means of gathering that qi ourselves, so we will probably have to buy it from a market. The matter has been giving us no end of headaches." Xiaoyangling went still. Since childhood, he had cultivated with medicinal pills, chosen spiritual qi according to his own preferences, and selected cultivation arts and secret techniques almost at will. Tongya's answer lay entirely outside the understanding of a man raised in luxury. For several breaths, he was too shocked to speak. Tongya paid it no mind and silently calculated the clan's harvest for the year. After handing over 200 jin of tribute, his storage pouch still held more than 260 jin of spirit rice, and 7 white essence fruits, worth a little over 4 spirit stones in total. Over the past 5 years, the clan's 3 Wuzuo spirit worms had spun silk 12 times, producing 3 wads of spirit floss worth half a spirit stone. As for the spirit within talisman art Li Qijing had left behind, Tongya had studied it for 5 years and only just grasped a few of its tricks. He had managed 1 or 2 successful talismans, but even now, he still did not dare draw on genuine talisman paper. Tongya and Xiangping managed the clan with painstaking frugality. 1 spirit stone bought only 30 blank talisman sheets, while 3 completed embryonic breathing talismans generally sold for 1 spirit stone. He would need 10 successful talismans simply to recover the price of the paper, and that did not even include talisman ink. Naturally, he did not dare waste materials through careless practice. Tongya was considering where he might sell the spiritual goods in his possession when Xiaoyangling spoke beside him. His expression complicated. "Lesser azure spirit qi normally costs around 40 spirit stones. Has Brother Tongya gathered enough?" Tongya shook his head and smiled. "There is no urgency. Lesser azure spirit qi is expensive enough to consume 50 years of my clan's present income. For now, we will slowly accumulate spirit stones. Cultivators in the embryonic breathing realm often live to 120. I still have time." Xiaoyangling stared at him. After a long moment, he said softly, "Brother Tongya formed the Jade Capital Chakra at 30 and is already preparing for qi refining. Your aptitude is certainly not poor, yet you are burdened by your clan. It is a true pity. Had you been born into a great cultivation family, your achievements would surely have surpassed mine 100-fold. Tongya frowned faintly. Seeing the emotion on Xiaoyangling's face, he smiled. "Why would you say that? The world is difficult, and people survive by huddling together for warmth. The Li clan may appear impoverished now, but we reached even this point only through a century of accumulation by our ancestors, followed by the fortune of entering the immortal path. I would never call the clan a burden. Everything I have was given to me by that clan." Xiao Yongling nodded thoughtfully. Yongling has learned something today. Li Tongya smiled and shook his head. His gaze moved slowly across the market stalls before his expression became serious. Brother Yongling, how much would a qi refining cultivation art cost? If it is an ordinary art sold by one of the scattered cultivator shops, then perhaps only a few stones. You could even find one at a roadside stall. Xiao Yongling pointed toward the pavilions ahead. But if you want an orthodox art of the second grade or higher, you must visit the larger establishments. Prices usually range from several dozen to more than 100 spirit stones. Some shops sell the cultivation art, together with the required heavenly spiritual qi, saving the buyer the trouble of searching for and gathering it. Those packages are naturally much more expensive. Of course, there are also ancient arts and secret arts. Their prices rise and fall without any fixed rule. Everything depends on the individual seller. Li Tongya frowned. Ancient arts and secret arts? Xiao Yongling smiled lightly. All methods descend from common roots. Over the years, when no suitable successor could be found, portions of many cultivation arts were lost or severed from their inheritance. A single missing section may alter the entire nature of an art. Incomplete legacies of this kind are called ancient arts. Seeing Li Tongya listening carefully, Xiao Yongling nodded and continued. There is another kind called a secret art. Some clans or sects inherit wondrous ancient arts but cannot cultivate them because a portion has been lost. Later generations alter the method slightly, replacing the missing section with a different technique or another route of circulating spiritual power. These modified methods are called secret arts. Li Tongya nodded in understanding. That does not sound like a bad solution. Xiao Yongling shook his head, eager to explain the matter thoroughly. Later generations are crude craftsmen. How can altered formulas compare to precious arts refined by the ancients over centuries or millennia? Secret arts are generally weaker, and they often carry flaws. The Xiao clan possesses several secret arts for tempering the limbs. Slow cultivation is the least of their problems. Some require constant medicinal support merely to keep the cultivator alive. I see. Only then did Li Tongya nod. He laughed. Whether it is an ancient art, a secret art, or an orthodox art makes no difference to me. My purse is empty. I cannot afford any of them. Xiao Yongling shook his head, his expression solemn. Brother Tongya, do not belittle yourself. Your younger brother possesses extraordinary talent within the sect, while you manage the clan with diligence and restraint. In only a few more years, the name of the Li clan of Mount Lijing will surely resound throughout the Guli Road. Li Tongya smiled bitterly and exchanged a few polite words. Though his thoughts turned inward, Qingchi sect acts with unfathomable cunning. The ambush and death of the Moonlight Origin Manor's successor alone conceals countless mysteries. I only hope Jing'er remains safe inside the sect and is not dragged into one of those whirlpools. Li Xiangping traveled with the wind. Before long, a small orchard appeared ahead, surrounded by a wooden fence. Protective wrappings still covered the blossoms and fruit on the branches. It clearly belonged to a farming household. Judging by the distance, I am already deep inside Ji clan territory. This family must be among the farmers under their rule. Li Xiangping had fled through the entire night. His face was deathly pale, and the talisman in his hand had dimmed almost completely. Its power was nearly exhausted. He drew the dark bronze Dharma mirror from his pouch and tapped it lightly. Closing his eyes, he sensed that the old Taoist's aura still lingered far behind him and cursed beneath his breath. From within the mirror, Lu Jiangshen could see the situation far more clearly. The old Taoist had forcibly suppressed his injuries and swallowed several medicinal pills, managing to stabilize his aura. His eyes were filled with viciousness as he rode a flying shuttle toward Li Xiangping. The moment that old Taoist uses a spell to seize or attack my mirror body, I will let the mirror retaliate naturally and kill him. Lu Jiangshan watched with a frown. The old Taoist had lost his left shoulder, leaving his spiritual power unable to circulate smoothly. The force of the Taiyan profound light still lingered inside his body, constantly interfering with him. From time to time, he had to close his eyes and regulate his breathing for several moments. His speed had slowed considerably, yet he remained faster than Li Xiangping. I only need to catch him. Once I catch that brat, I will kill him with a single palm, take the mirror and leave. Greed, fury, and reason clashed repeatedly within the old Taoist's mind. An embryonic breathing cultivator can unleash such power with that mirror. What fortune would it bring if it fell into my hands? He used it only once before turning to flee instead of pressing his advantage. Each attack must consume an enormous amount of energy. He should not be able to use it again anytime soon. The old Taoist gradually accelerated his flying shuttle. A village came into view ahead. Li Xiangping was weaving through an orchard, desperately increasing his pace. He was no longer riding the wind. His movement talisman must have run dry. Li Xiangping turned his hand over and concealed his final talisman in his palm. It was a Vajra talisman. Once activated, it would make his skin and bones as hard as steel. Perhaps it would allow him to withstand several blows from the old Taoist and gamble everything on one final struggle. The old Taoist began descending on his flying shuttle. Suddenly, Xiangping turned around and raised the dark bronze mirror once again. Again, the old Taoist nearly coughed up blood. He violently changed the shuttle's direction, swerving aside before crashing crookedly into the upper branches of a tree. When he steadied himself, he saw Xiangping leaning against a kumquat tree and watching him with a cold smile. "You little bastard!" Instead of becoming angry, the old Taoist was delighted. He patted his storage pouch, put away the flying shuttle, and landed lightly on the ground. The moment his feet touched earth, Xiangping rushed toward him. The old Taoist wasted no words. Brilliant golden light gathered between his fingers and shot directly toward Xiangping's chest. A soft white radiance rose around Xiangping, attempting to dissolve the incoming golden light. The old Taoist's spell dimmed as it passed through the glow, but it still struck Xiangping's body. Pfft! All 5 of Xiangping's viscera shook violently. Blood burst from his mouth and the mirror flew from his hand, tumbling toward the ground. The old Taoist's gaze was immediately drawn to it. The white hairs of his horsetail whisk lengthened in the wind, twisting together like an enormous hand as they reached for the Dharma mirror. A vicious light flashed through Xiangping's eyes. While the old Taoist's attention was fixed on the mirror, he gathered a golden light art in his left hand and prepared to smash it into the man's skull. Inside the mirror, Lu Jiangshan watched layer after layer of white whisk hairs reaching toward him. An intense disgust suddenly rose in his heart for no reason, as though an ignorant child had taken a pair of chopsticks from a table and pointed them directly at his eye. At the same time, another thought flashed through him. What an excellent opportunity. The instant the whisk hairs touched the mirror, they recoiled as though they had grasped burning coals. The dark bronze mirror seemed to have suffered an unforgivable insult. It suddenly floated upward until it hung 1 chi above the ground, releasing torrents of white light. The 12 seal characters around the mirror's rim lit one after another. Brilliant white radiance surged across its surface like unstable waves, so dazzling that neither man could keep his eyes open. It hung above them like a small, silent sun. A terrifying sense of danger appeared in both their hearts. The crushing pressure locked Xiangping and the old Taoist in place. Neither could move. They stood frozen, as though the world itself had been paused around them. This is bad. The old Taoist's heart lurched as realization struck him. I should never have tried to seize that mirror with my whisk. He had cultivated for many years, and heard of wondrous spiritual artifacts with profound intelligence. Such treasures had to be respectfully invited and treated with reverence, and each carried its own taboos. Qingchi Sect's great snow-severing peak was one such treasure. Unless it acknowledged a person, no amount of spiritual power could move it. To an unrecognized cultivator, it was no different from an ordinary stone. This is terrible. How can this mirror possess such terrifying spirituality? I must have violated one of its taboos. Xiangping had been preparing to smash the golden light art into the old Taoist's head, but the pressure left him unable to move. Seeing the mirror rise into the air wrapped in white light, just as his father and second brother had once described during the battle with the wolf demon, he immediately understood. The old Taoist had most likely triggered the mirror's autonomous retaliation. Relief quietly passed through his heart. The old Taoist used some unknown technique, and his faint voice sounded directly beside Xiangping's ear. Young friend, this old Taoist was as foolish as a pig. I unknowingly violated a taboo and caused this spiritual artifact to retaliate against us both. Please use whatever formula you possess to save me. I will certainly repay you handsomely in the future. Xiangping rolled his eyes inwardly and ignored the old man's nonsense. Lu Jiangshan looked at the immobilized Taoist and gained a new understanding of his own strength. So when the Taiyin profound light is being condensed, if the target is close enough, the pressure alone can suppress a chi-refining cultivator and leave him unable to move. As his divine sense spread outward, Lu Jiangshan noticed that someone inside the farmhouse had awakened. A teenage boy dressed in rough hemp was creeping toward them. He hid behind a tree and watched the 2 cultivators carefully. I should end this quickly. With a single thought, pure white Taiyin profound light descended. The old Taoist managed only half a sound before he and his horsetail whisk vanished completely, dissolving like snow beneath the sun. Clack! A small storage pouch fell to the ground. The whisk had been made from some unknown spiritual material. Its handle survived as a pale green piece of metal, falling lightly beside the pouch. Lu Jiangshan then slowly extinguished the white radiance and hovered quietly in the air. Xiangping finally regained control of his face. He coughed up another mouthful of blood and collapsed weakly to the ground. He had only just begun to regulate his breathing when something struck him viciously on the head. Stars exploded across his vision. He forced himself to turn and look behind him. The farm boy in ragged hemp clothes had climbed over Li Xiangping's body. Greed and delight covered his face as he raised a stone and smashed it down again. Damn it! What courage! Even an immortal's treasure is something you dare to steal? Li Xiangping forced the final thread of spiritual power within his body to gather. He raised his left arm to block the stone, while his right hand searched blindly across the ground. The repeated blows were already leaving him dizzy, and his vision filled with stars when his fingers finally closed around a fallen branch. He poured a golden light art into it and stabbed toward the boy. The spell made the branch incomparably sharp. It pierced straight through the boy's throat. The youth's eyes went blank. He spat several mouthfuls of blood, clutched his neck, and fell to the ground, thrashing in the dirt. Li Xiangping lay paralyzed on the ground, watching the boy writhe. Afraid that the commotion would draw others, he hurriedly picked up the storage pouch and the pale green piece of metal, stuffed them into his robes, and seized the Dharma mirror from the air. Staggering to his feet, he fled toward the edge of the village. Li Tongya waited several days within the commandery. At last he heard that Tangjin Sect's forces had withdrawn. Burning with anxiety, he took leave of the Xiao clan and set out for home along the Guli Road, passing through Kunlin Plain. He had no driver with him. Born to a farming household, he had never learned to ride a horse, though he could at least handle an ox cart. He therefore drove the cart alone. After traveling for an hour along the Guli Road, he could no longer keep from covering his nose. The stench of corpses is overwhelming. It had rained only the day before. Bodies lying beside the road had soaked in the rainwater until they swelled grotesquely. Blisters rose across skin turned blue-black, while the flesh beneath had begun to rot. Under the fierce morning sun, the stench grew almost unbearable. What a mountain of sin. Li Tongya frequently had to stop the cart and push aside piles of bodies blocking the road. The ox struggled forward as the cart lurched from side to side, through pathways carved between the dead. At last, even the animal could bear the smell no longer and refused to take another step. Li Tongya abandoned the cart and continued on foot. He covered his mouth and nose, yet still had to stop from time to time to wipe away tears forced from his eyes by the stench. An inexplicable, violent emotion churned inside him. For an entire day and night he ate nothing. Alone he walked the road buried beneath corpses. How will Qingchi Sect record this? The thought suddenly appeared in his mind. Imitating the sect's cold, indifferent tone, he laughed. In the 4th month, Tangjin Sect invaded Kunlin Plain. Several days later, they were forced to withdraw. He pushed aside another heap of bodies and sat for a moment upon a blood-stained stone, a cold smile on his face. Li Tongya eventually saw survivors. Villagers crawled out from among the corpses as though they had lost all desire to speak. Whenever two survivors met, they held their heads and wept together. Once their tears were spent, they returned to searching the ruins for food. Li Tongya's clothes were relatively clean. He carried a long saber, and there was little blood on his body. He looked like a traveler merely passing through Kunlin Plain. Before long, groups of 3 or 5 children began following him. Most were only 5 or 6 years old. They stared at him with pitiful eyes. Li Tongya walked the mountain road in silence. Whenever he caught a wild boar or wolf, he threw it to the children behind him and let them roast the meat, eating it half raw. After a difficult journey, he finally reached the former territory of the Wan Clan. The Wan villages were empty now. No one lived there. No one guarded them. There was only blood, corpses, and the same choking stench. Xuanfeng, Li Tongya had only just arrived when he noticed a small figure wandering through the vast field of bodies. Looking more closely, he realized it was Li Xiangping's eldest son, Li Xuanfeng. The boy was lifting the hair from one corpse after another, his clothing covered in dried blood. What happened? Where is your father? Why are you crawling through a pile of dead bodies? What will you do if you catch a disease? Li Tongya frowned, his heart tightening. He pulled the child close. Seeing Xuanfeng's cracked, gray-white lips only deepened his unease. Li Xuanfeng twisted his mouth and kicked a severed arm lying on the ground. I am looking for father, Xiangping. Your father has not returned home? A terrible premonition rose in Li Tongya's heart. He lowered his voice. Brother Xuanyuan would not tell me, but father probably went to reinforce the Wan Clan. No one knows where he is now. Li Tongya listened to the boy's answer and considered the situation for several moments. Come home with me first. Oh, Li Xuanfeng answered in a subdued voice. Then he looked around at the dead. The Ji clan is truly ruthless. All 5 Wan villages are gone. Every single person was slaughtered. Why would they do this? These people were killed by Tangjin Sect and Qingchi Sect. The words escaped Li Tongya without explanation. Li Xuanfeng stared blankly. Then a thought formed deep inside him. Tangjin Sect and that young lord of theirs are both worthless filth. When I grow up, I will slaughter Tangjin Sect and cut off that young lord's head to use as a ball. Li Xuanyuan sat alone in the courtyard, his heart unbearably restless. Over the past several days, he had secretly searched Lichuan Pass several times. He had not found even a single sign of battle, much less any trace of his uncle Li Xiangping. Where has Feng gone now? I sent men to search for an entire day, yet no one has seen him. Li Xuanyuan's head throbbed. Li Xuanfeng had only just received the talisman seed. The moment no one was watching, he disappeared. Earlier, he had even come to ask where Li Xiangping was, forcing Xuanyuan to invent excuses to placate him. But the boy was exceptionally clever. He often eavesdropped on the adults and already understood something of what had happened to the Wan Clan. In all likelihood, he had guessed most of the truth and hurried out alone. As the eldest legitimate heir of the Li clan, Li Xuanyuan could not act as recklessly as Li Xuanfeng. He could not storm into territory now controlled by the Ji clan in search of a missing man. Though anxiety burned through him, he continued smiling and dealing with the village stewards, doing everything he could to stabilize the situation until Li Tongya returned. The strain was far from easy to endure. Young clan lord, Li Xuanyuan was still lost in thought when hurried footsteps sounded outside the courtyard. Li Yisheng entered with a smile, then spoke solemnly. The immortal master has returned. Li Xuanyuan froze. The weight pressing down on him suddenly lifted. Delight swept across his face, and he hurried down the mountain to welcome Li Tongya. Li Tongya first arranged shelter for the children who had followed him across Kunlin Plain. Dusty and exhausted, he then climbed the mountain, meeting Li Yesheng and Li Xuanyuan on the way. His face revealed nothing. He patted Li Xuanfeng's shoulder. Go wash yourself clean, then sleep. Li Xuanfeng nodded and left. Li Tongya and Li Xuanyuan entered the courtyard together. After dismissing Li Yesheng, Li Tongya finally spoke. Tell me, what happened? Li Xuanyuan recounted everything that had occurred over the past several days. Li Tongya listened carefully. When the boy finished, his voice turned cold. Did you investigate the former Wan territory? Li Xuanyuan shook his head. I only ordered the people at Lidao Pass to conceal all movement to the east. I did not send anyone across the border. Li Tongya gave a cold laugh. The Wan clan has been destroyed for more than a month, yet you did not even know there was no one left beneath Mount Lijing. Your uncle has been missing for over a month, and you were still circling around those stewards, testing one another. You gathered no information whatsoever, and you even allowed Feng to run alone into Ji territory. Li Xuanyuan, you have handled matters magnificently. The words struck Li Xuanyuan like lightning. He dropped to his knees in the courtyard. His eyes burned with pain and his mouth opened, but no words emerged. What are you afraid of? Li Tongya shook his head, his voice deep. Even if something happened to Xiangping, and even if I was away, your youngest uncle is still cultivating inside Qingchi Sect. Who would dare show you the slightest disrespect? The moment your uncle failed to return after a single night, you should have sent clan soldiers to patrol every road. You should have ordered Li Chuyang to hold Lidao Pass. With the weapons and troops in your hands, who would dare look down on you? Even if those men guessed that Li Xiangping had met with disaster, who among them would dare say it aloud? Li Tongya sighed softly. Do not waste your time playing games of mutual suspicion with a few stewards. They are only dogs of the Li clan. When you are pleased, throw them a few bones. If they dare drag their feet or posture before you, kill them with a single stroke. The authority of the Li clan comes from cultivation and the blade. You must be decisive. You must be ruthless. You must dare to kill. The Li clan does not need a man who merely clutches what already exists. We need someone who can advance. Seeing Li Wanjuan lower his head, Li Tongya's tone softened. Fortunately, this was your first time managing the clan, and you did not cause any irreversible disaster. After considering the matter for several breaths, Li Tongya looked at him more gently. Go into seclusion at the cave dwelling on Mount Mixi and reflect on this. Do not emerge until you have broken through to the 4th stage of embryonic breathing and formed the Azure Essence Chakra. Thank you, uncle. Li Xuanyuan cupped his hands. He seemed almost relieved as he withdrew respectfully. Li Tongya went into the rear courtyard, changed his clothes, and sat in the main seat. He carefully reviewed Li Xuanyuan's records of recent clan affairs. After reading for a while, he frowned. Call Yesheng here. A clan soldier outside immediately went to summon him. Li Yesheng hurried into the main courtyard, bowed, and found Li Tongya studying a wooden slip without even raising his head. Li Yesheng's heart sank. This is bad. I tried to be clever and only made matters worse. Li Xiangping and Li Tongya had raised Li Xuanyuan from childhood as the future clan lord. But in those days, Li Xuanfeng and Li Xuanling had not yet been born. Who knew what the two brothers thought now? When Li Yesheng saw Li Xuanyuan make a mistake, he had deliberately tested the situation, hoping to discover their true attitude. Now, with Li Tongya sitting in silence, he immediately understood that his calculations had been seen through. He hurriedly dropped to his knees. Li Tongya frowned and raised a hand, cutting off his apology. When the clan lord returns, you may explain yourself to him. He put away the wooden slip and spoke in a deep voice. Beat the drums and mobilize the troops. Xiangping staggered onward for some distance before finding a large tree and collapsing against its trunk. He regulated his breathing until 2 or 3/10 of his spiritual power had returned. Then he rose, activated the swift movement art beneath his feet, and forced his exhausted body to continue south. After traveling for half an hour, he finally dared to relax slightly. He climbed into a great banyan tree and lay among the branches, drifting between sleep and wakefulness for several hours. Only then did his strength begin to recover. The wilderness was empty, and he encountered no one. Xiangping caught a wild rabbit, roasted it, and ate. He then spent several days absorbing spiritual qi and smoothing the damaged channels within his body before resuming his journey south. The external wounds had largely healed, but internal injuries were far more difficult to treat. A dull pain still lingered through his organs, and he had recovered only 70 or 80% of his strength. Afraid of encountering a demon beast, he traveled with extreme caution. By the time he returned to Li territory, more than a month had passed. The moment he crossed the border, he saw several patrols of clan soldiers moving through the forest. It seems the family remains stable. The Ji clan has not yet advanced west. Even though the soldiers wore Li clan uniforms, Xiangping carefully avoided them. He continued in secret all the way to Lijing village. Only after seeing that everything remained orderly, with no signs of unrest, did the great stone in his heart finally settle. Tongya was sharpening his sword with a frown when footsteps sounded outside. He looked up and froze. Xiangping stood in the doorway, battered and filthy, yet smiling faintly. The corner of Tongya's mouth immediately lifted. "I knew a slippery bastard like you would not die so easily." Xiangping grinned, sat beside the table, seized the tea, and gulped down an entire bowl. Only then did he speak. "It is a long story. A qi refining cultivator chased me for a day and 2 nights. I nearly died beneath a single palm." He recounted the pursuit and escape of the past 20-odd days. Then Xiangping removed his outer robe and gently placed the Dharma mirror on the table. As the dark bronze mirror slowly rose into the air, he tossed out a storage pouch and a pale green piece of metal. "Take a look." Tongya nodded and sent his spiritual sense into the pouch. With a clatter, he emptied a pile of objects onto the table. Aside from clothing, miscellaneous items, gold and silver, the old Taoist storage pouch contained 25 spirit stones, several kinds of embryonic breathing healing pills, a carefully sealed jade bottle labeled Jade Bud Pill, a stack of talismans, and the white glowing jade pendant. Finally, a white longsword fell out with a metallic ring. The moment Xiangping picked up the pendant, Lu Jiangxian, who had been half asleep inside the mirror, became fully alert. The pendant was only an inch away. Following the connection between them, Lu Jiangxian gently drew it closer. The jade pendant immediately leaped upward like a delighted bird and struck the dark bronze Dharma mirror. It happened so suddenly that Xiangping had no time to catch it. The pendant flew up and pressed itself lightly against the mirror's surface. Threads of white qi emerged and streamed into the mirror like weary birds returning to the forest. The 12 seal characters around the mirror's rim gradually lit. Lu Jiangxian felt indescribably comfortable. The range of his divine sense expanded continuously, while streams of information flowed into his mind. He quietly began sorting through them. Xiangping and Tongya watched as the white radiance within the pendant slowly faded. With a soft clack, it fell back onto the table. The brothers exchanged glances, respectfully returned the Dharma mirror to its stone pedestal, and waited for the time it took an incense stick to burn. When nothing unusual occurred, they went back to the main courtyard and continued inspecting the spoils. The old Taoist had lived a poor life. Even his healing medicines were merely embryonic breathing pills. They put the bottles away together with the 25 spirit stones. Xiangping then gently opened the Jade Bud Pill bottle. A rich medicinal fragrance immediately spread through the room and sank deep into their lungs. Merely smelling it caused the spiritual power within both men to surge. The medicinal force of this pill surpasses even the 2 serpent essence pills remaining in the clan. The serpent essence pill can already be used by both embryonic breathing and qi refining cultivators. This Jade Bud Pill must be a true qi refining medicine. Xiangping quickly resealed the bottle. When he looked up, he saw Tongya holding the white longsword and examining it with obvious affection. "How is the sword?" Tongya smiled and shook his head. It was probably the old man's weapon during the embryonic breathing realm. It seems worth only 3 to 5 spirit stones, though it is still far superior to ordinary iron. The answer reminded Xiangping of his azure crowbow, the spiritual artifact Tongya had bought for 2.5 spirit stones. It was not light. Before leaving, he had expected only to release 1 strike of tie-in profound light before retreating. Carrying the bow would have hindered his movement, so he had left it at home. Who could have expected him to encounter that old Taoist and enter a battle without a suitable weapon? Then again, Perhaps the old Taoist would have caught me much sooner if I had been carrying the bow. While Li Xiangping reflected on the pursuit, Li Tongya silently unfolded the talismans and compared their patterns with the spirit within talisman art. These should be embryonic breathing talismans capable of summoning a defensive spell shield. After carefully comparing the details, Li Tongya counted the stack. There were 24 talismans, worth roughly 8 spirit stones. We can leave some for Shanyue and Xianfeng to protect themselves, especially Xianfeng. That child has a mind of his own and loves running outside. Li Xiangping remembered the old Taoist releasing 12 talismans at once to summon the Great Shield. He cursed quietly, then laughed. That expensive life-saving technique was fooled by me twice in succession. No wonder the old bastard became so furious. Li Tongya picked up the pale green piece of metal and studied it, but could not identify its origin. He turned to Li Xiangping and frowned. "Are you still injured? Use medicine and recuperate first." Li Qijing gently returned his sword to its sheath. Blue-white moonlight autumn essence moved around him as though alive, flowing back and forth like water, and casting rippling reflections of moonlight across the ground. Behind him, Xiaoyuanzi waved a hand and dispersed the battered Jade Origin spell shield, which looked as though it would have collapsed in another instant. He smiled faintly. "Junior brother, your command of sword chi is remarkable. The moonlight autumn essence produced by the Moon Lake reflecting autumn art is truly extraordinary." Li Qijing frowned. "I heard Tangjin Sect invaded Kunlin Plains." Xiaoyuanzi sighed. His expression was not pleasant either. "My family sent word that the Li clan suffered no serious harm. Junior brother, you need not worry." Li Qijing lowered his head and tightened his grip around the sword, yet his voice remained troubled. "Senior sister already told me what happened at home. But why did I hear there was not a single defender stationed on Kunlin Plain?" Xiaoyuanzi paused. His eyes lowered. Tangjin Sect struck while Qingchi Sect was changing its garrison. The cultivators on duty were caught off guard as well. He offered only a vague explanation. Seeing Li Qijing nod thoughtfully, Xiaoyuanzi hurriedly changed the subject. "The demon beasts in the south have been restless in recent years. The sect intends to mobilize cultivators and send them south to resist the enemy. I saw the list. Aside from Master, Clear Wisdom Peak must provide 2 more disciples." Li Qijing tilted his head. "Whom does Master intend to send?" "You and me, naturally." Xiaoyuanzi leaned closer with a smile. "Yuantuan is not skilled in battle, so she will remain on the peak." He patted Li Qijing's shoulder. "You cultivate the sword. How can you attain the Tao without passing through mountains of corpses and seas of blood at least once? As for me, I possess some talent in alchemy. The sect most likely intends to send me south as support for those of you doing the fighting." Li Qijing understood at once. A trace of excitement appeared on his face. "That is not bad. I only wonder how long this journey will last." Xiaoyuanzi nodded. "Exactly. Send word home before we leave. The sect will not make us work for nothing. Bringing back a few useful things for your clan should present no problem." Li Qijing immediately brightened. "Could the sect reward us with a cultivation art?" "A cultivation art?" Xiaoyuanzi frowned. "You have already cultivated the Moon Lake reflecting autumn art. Why would you still request?" He suddenly understood and lowered his voice. "Is it for your family?" Li Qijing nodded. Xiaoyuanzi thought for several breaths before answering. "Cultivation arts have always been the deepest secrets of clans and sects. I fear no one will willingly part with one. Judging by the time, my brothers at home should be approaching the peak of embryonic breathing. Yet the clan possesses no decent chi refining art. I want to obtain one for them." Li Qijing placed the sword in his hand upon the table. The more precious a cultivation art, the less likely anyone is to sell their family's method in a market. Most will not even carry the complete text on their person. When a clan is about to be destroyed, they would rather drag everyone down with them and burn every cultivation art than allow an enemy to inherit it. Finding a suitable legacy is truly difficult. "Then how about this?" Xiaoyuanzi nodded, his expression becoming serious. "The Xiao clan will provide the cultivation art. In exchange, you will request a fulfilled origin pill from the sect on our behalf." "A fulfilled origin pill?" Li Qijing froze and looked at him with concern. "Senior brother, are you preparing to attempt foundation establishment?" "It is not for me. One of my clan uncles desires it." Xiaoyuanzi shook his head. "The fulfilled origin pill raises the chance of successfully establishing a foundation by 1/2. Its ingredients are not especially rare, but the sect alone controls the formula. The pills can only be granted as rewards, which makes them almost impossible to obtain. I will exchange 1 3rd-grade cultivation art for it." "Senior brother is truly cunning." Li Qijing chuckled. "The fulfilled origin pill may only be a chi refining medicine, but it cannot be bought even with money and is incomparably precious. I will not trade it for a single 3rd-grade art." Seeing Xiaoyuanzi's helpless expression, Li Qijing laughed. "I will choose any 2 3rd-grade cultivation arts from the Xiao clan. together with one Qi gathering method. Xianxia immediately became animated. 1 third-grade art, 1 second-grade art, and 1 key gathering method. Li Qijing smiled and nodded. Then senior brother must not use common market goods to deceive me. I want orthodox methods, not ancient arts or flawed secret arts. Xiao Yuanzi laughed at his expression. He carefully described the cultivation arts available to the Xiao clan. Li Qijing listened to each one before frowning. Senior brother, do you possess a qi refining art that uses golden autumn within the lake? Mount Lijing stands beside Wangyu Lake. It would be best if the clan could gather that spiritual qi. Xiao Yuanzi shook his head. Where would such a convenient art come from? I have only ever seen golden autumn within the lake used to cultivate the moon lake reflecting autumn art. Li Qijing nodded and considered the choices for more than 10 breaths. Then I will choose the third-grade rivers converging into 1 qi art and the second-grade azure spirit origin art. The Luwei River passes through our territory, so gathering pure river qi should be convenient. At the cave dwelling on Mount Mixi, Li Xiangping remained in seclusion for several days. At last, he restored his aura to its peak and released a breath of relief. The spiritual power within his body had become more refined. His cultivation, stagnant for years, finally showed movement once more. He had drawn another step closer to breaking through to the 5th stage of embryonic breathing and forming the jade capital chakra. A faint happiness rose in his heart. When he emerged from the inner chamber, he found Li Tongya standing in the main hall, quietly drawing talismans. Li Tongya looked up and smiled. You have emerged? The 3 chambers of the Mount Mixi cave dwelling had been renovated. 1 stored spirit rice and various spiritual materials. The other 2 were reserved for secluded cultivation. Li Xuanyuan was currently in retreat inside one of them. Li Xiangping sat at the stone table and listened, while Li Tongya recounted everything he had seen on the road, as well as recent affairs within the clan. He frowned and thought. We cannot interfere with whatever Tangjin Sect and Qingchi Sect are plotting. For now, the Ji clan has isolated us within the mountains. We cannot lower our guard. Though Tangjin Sect has withdrawn, the Ji clan remains stronger than we are. Li Tongya nodded. Mount Huashan and the entire former Wan territory have become ruins. When I took the eastern shortcut through Lu territory, I heard that the Lu clan lost several qi refining cultivators because of the Ji clan. Their hatred is now irreconcilable. They will not let the matter end here. That would be the best possible outcome. Li Xiangping drank a mouthful of tea. If the Lu clan keeps Jidongqi occupied in the east, and the lands beneath Mount Huashan remain devastated, the Ji clan will need 10 or 20 years before it can spare the strength to advance west. By then, second brother should already have entered qi refining. Li Tongya stopped his brush. The next time I travel to Guanyun Peak, I will sell the old Taoist's possessions. The proceeds should be enough to purchase at least a small portion of pure azure spirit qi. Li Xiangping narrowed his eyes. Xuanyuan still lacks decisiveness. Perhaps it is because he has never seen blood. Once he forms the azure essence chakra, let him command a force of clan soldiers and hunt a few demon beasts. He needs to spill blood with his own hands. He is only 14 or 15. Li Tongya shook his head. Li Xiangping gave a faint, mocking laugh. That is difficult to say. Some people were already killing men alone at 14 or 15, chopping the bodies apart to feed wolves, then returning home to eat a large bowl of noodles as though nothing had happened. Li Tongya lowered his head and smiled. He was about to answer when Li Yesheng entered the cave dwelling and bowed respectfully. Li Xiangping turned toward him. What is it? Li Yesheng spoke quietly. Clan Lord, 10 children from the Wan Clan have arrived at the foot of the mountain. They say that our 2 clans were once friends. Now their homes are gone and their clan has been destroyed. They hope we might lend them a house and allow them to take shelter. The brothers froze and set down their tea bowls. A complicated expression crossed Li Xiangping's face. Does any one of them possess a spiritual orifice? Qiyang examined them. The leader has formed the first stage of embryonic breathing, the profound sensory chakra. The others are all mortals. Li Yesheng answered quietly. Li Xiangping remained silent for several breaths before speaking. Distribute the Wan children among the villages. Those in their teens should receive a little land and establish separate households. Children 10 or younger can remain at the academy for now. Find foster families for the smallest ones. As for the leader, bring him to see me first. Wan Tianjing had hidden in the mountains with the children through the entire night. When the great formation on Mount Huatian shattered with a thunderous roar, the last of his hope died. Remembering the words of the clan uncle who had sent him down the mountain, he wiped away his tears and led the children west through the wilderness. He remained silent along the way, his heart reduced to ashes. Before leaving, the children behind him, large and small, had all been warned by their families. None cried out or caused trouble. They simply followed in silence. though the occasional sob made the journey all the more desolate. Wan Tianjing avoided the usual village roads and searched for wild fruit and rabbits to keep the children fed. After a difficult journey, they entered Li territory. He found someone and asked for directions. A Li cultivator stationed nearby soon arrived. The man looked around 20 and introduced himself as Li Chuyang, a branch-line cultivator of the Li clan. He spoke courteously enough. When he heard what had happened to the Wan clan, sorrow appeared on his face. As he guided Wan Tianjing toward Mount Mixi, he asked quietly, "Have any of you cultivated?" Li Chuyang had reached the third stage of embryonic breathing, the circulating chakra. He had remained at that stage for 2 or 3 years without finding an opportunity to break through. The clan had few cultivators against whom he could compare himself, so he wanted to know Wan Tianjing's cultivation. "This one has entered the immortal path. I have formed the profound sensory chakra." Seeing that Wan Tianjing was already 14 or 15, Li Chuyang immediately felt much better. So not everyone cultivates at the monstrous speed of Li Xuanyuan. He practiced for 7 years and reached the third stage of embryonic breathing by 14 or 15. The Li clan worked efficiently. Wan Tianjing had exchanged only a few words with Li Chuyang when a dignified middle-aged man arrived to escort him up the mountain. Wan Tianjing lowered his head and followed the stone path. The middle-aged man bowed respectfully and led him into the cave dwelling. Wan Tianjing glanced up. A middle-aged man sat in the center of the great hall, reading with his head lowered. "Clan Lord, this is the one." At the sound of the steward's voice, the seated man raised his head. His narrow brows lifted slightly, and his hawk-like eyes met Wan Tianjing's gaze directly. Wan Tianjing lost his composure at once. He hurriedly lowered his head and dropped to his knees, shaken inwardly. This man is no ordinary figure. He must be the lord of the Li clan. Li Xiangping nodded and rose, gently setting down the wooden slip in his hand. He watched Wan Tianjing in silence. Sweat quickly covered the boy's body. Then a calm voice sounded from above. "Raise your head." Wan Tianjing felt as though he had been pardoned. He looked up and only then noticed another man standing beside the Li clan lord. The second man appeared refined and mild, with a treasured sword at his waist and a jade-green talisman brush in his hand. He was smiling faintly at the boy. "What is your name?" the middle-aged man in the principal seat finally asked. Wan Tianjing remained silent for several breaths. Grief and hatred surged through him. He ground his teeth. "Wan Tianchou, my name is Wan Tianchou." Li Xiangping nodded. He asked several more questions about what had happened on Mount Huatian that night. Then he dismissed Wan Tianchou and Li Yesheng. When they were gone, he exchanged a glance with Li Tongya and said indifferently, "Timid and without strategy, though he still possesses some loyalty. He may be of limited use. He is far inferior to Wan Tianshang." Li Tongya smiled and shook his head. Only Wan Xiaohua and Wan Tianshang were truly worth fearing in the Wan clan. If even one of those two had escaped, the clan might still have found a chance to rise again. Unfortunately, both died on Mount Huatian. Li Xiangping waved a hand. Unless their ancestor Wan Huatian can crawl out of the earth, the destruction of the Wan clan is settled. We should consider the future instead. Second brother, are you ready to break through to the 6th stage of embryonic breathing? Li Tongya nodded. After regulating my breathing for a few days, I can enter seclusion. Li Xiangping poured the green tea, swept several wooden slips aside, and lifted a brush to mark figures on a sheet of cloth. Second brother will soon break through to the 6th stage, the spirit embryo chakra. I also have an opportunity to challenge the 5th stage. Second sister-in-law, Li Chuyang and Xuanyuan are all at the 3rd stage. Wan Tianchou has reached the 1st stage. Xuanfeng and Chen Donghe have only just stepped onto the immortal path. Even without counting Jinger, the present strength of the Li clan is no longer much weaker than the Wan clan of years past. That is true. Li Tongya nodded. Then he remembered another matter. A few days ago, the men below reported that herds of beasts have been moving inexplicably through the western forests. One demon beast even fled out of the mountains. Fortunately, its cultivation was low. Chuyang and the village guards were enough to kill it. That cannot be a good sign. Li Xiangping thought for several breaths. Our scouts found no trace of the Shanyue, but Shanyue tribes have appeared in the west before. They may be responsible. We must remain cautious. I have already sent men deeper into the forest. They may uncover something. Li Tongya put away the talisman ink. The brothers continued talking as they left the cave dwelling and returned toward Mount Lijing. Lu Jiangxian sorted through the mass of information that had appeared in his mind. His divine sense wandered outward, taking in the familiar stone pedestal and skylight. The cracks across the mirror's surface had not changed much. Instead, a ring of crystalline white light had appeared around the Dharma mirror. The white key within the pendant had not strengthened the Taiyin profound light. It had granted the Dharma mirror a new ability, The mirror body could now combine the green key refined through the sacrificial convergence and origins seizing art with tie-in moonlight to condense a green elixir. A cultivator could consume only one such pill in an entire lifetime. It could shatter cultivation barriers and advance one's realm. Its effectiveness depended on the amount and quality of green key within it. A sufficiently powerful green elixir could even benefit Foundation Establishment or Purple Mansion cultivators. Yet like the Mystic Pearl Talisman seed, consuming the pill left a green seal hidden within the soul at the ascending Yang Palace. The seal increased the host's speed of absorbing spiritual qi. When the host eventually died, it drained every trace of vital essence from the body and transformed it into green qi, returning that power to the mirror. The Dharma mirror style remains consistent from beginning to end. Nothing is ever allowed to go to waste. Lu Jiangxian could not help sighing, feeling a little helpless. He had obtained the sacrificial convergence and origin sizing art several years ago, but its harsh conditions had prevented him from refining even a single stream of green qi. He could only wait until Li Tongya entered qi refining and attempt it then. Several days earlier, a huilot had crossed the mountain forests on horseback, leading his tribesmen directly toward Great Fish Spring, the place spoken of within the tribe. He ordered the tribal shamans to drive away the wild beasts and had his people begin constructing a temporary settlement. An elderly clansman soon came to persuade him to turn back. Great King, the lands east of Great Fish Spring belong to the demon sect. We should retreat. A huilot's eyes widened. Animal teeth and pieces of jade hanging from his body struck one another with sharp clinking sounds. Old man, where would you have us retreat? Back to fight that vicious wolf Jianxia to the death? Carry our own heads into Mount Li and wait to be slaughtered? Or cross Wangyu Lake and somehow find a place capable of sheltering 900 tribesmen? The old man had no answer. Sighing, he turned and returned to the tribe. A huilot gave a cold snort and drank a mouthful of fruit wine. Several tribesmen who had finished their preparations dragged forward a pale, soft-looking man. He was clean, with his hair bound tightly, and they threw him at a huilot's feet with a laugh. Great King, this living man was spying around the edge of our camp, so this lowly one captured him and brought him back. He was one of the Li Clan soldiers sent to investigate the western forests. When it came to hiding and moving through these mountains, ordinary scouts naturally could not compare to the Shanyue. This time, the Li soldier had been discovered and captured. A huilot rubbed his cheek. 4 painted lines marked his face. Representing cultivation at the 4th stage of embryonic breathing, he lifted the captive and spoke coldly. A living man? It has indeed been a long time since I saw one. The prisoner's eyes widened as he struggled in terror. A huilot laughed coldly, threw him back onto the ground and shouted, "Someone come!" A tribal shaman immediately dragged the prisoner away. Venomous insects and stinging wasps were pressed against his body. Screams soon echoed outside the tent. By the time a huilot had finished a cup of fruit wine, the prisoner had confessed everything. The Li tribe? A huilot frowned and shook his head. The shaman babbled through the information he had extracted. A huilot heard no mention of qi refining cultivators and immediately raised his voice. Who gives a damn? Seize their lands first and worry about the rest later. Get to work! More white hair had appeared at Chen Ernu's temples. The past several years had treated him well. His youngest son, Chen Donghe, had entered the immortal path, and Chen Ernu boasted about the matter to nearly everyone he met. Chen Donghe had cried with extraordinary strength when he was born. The more Chen Ernu looked at the child, the more delighted he became. He discarded the name he had prepared himself and visited teacher Han Wenshu to ask for a proper one. When Han Wenshu saw Chen Ernu arrive through winter snow, carrying fine wine and dried meat, he did not know whether to laugh or sigh. Knowing that Chen Ernu's family came from the Riverlands, he followed their tradition and named the child Chen Donghe Eastern River. Chen Donghe had been clever since childhood. After looking at his other useless sons for years, Chen Ernu finally felt some relief. Then, several years ago, the child was discovered to possess a spiritual orifice. Chen Ernu had nearly gone mad with joy and sent him to cultivate beside Li Xiangping. Ah, Chen Ernu sighed. Wan Tianshang had died on Mount Huatian, and Wan Tianshou had been assigned to guard Lidao Pass in his place. The boy was mild by nature and treated Chen Ernu well, but wild animals had been rustling out of the western forests for several days. Chen Ernu had slept poorly, his heart constantly filled with unease. He lay on the bed for a time and had just begun drifting towards sleep when terrified shouting erupted outside. "Father! Father!" Chen Sanshui suddenly crashed through the bedroom door. The thunderous noise startled Chen Ernu so badly that he jerked upright, rolled off the bed, and struck the ground. He groaned in pain. "You unfilial bastard! Damn you!" Before he could finish cursing, Chen Sanshui dragged him unsteadily toward the doorway and pointed east. "Something terrible has happened." Chen Ernu gripped the doorframe and froze. Fires glittered across the eastern slope. Bare-chested Shanyue warriors with painted arms charged down the mountain, laughing as they brandished long sabers. A seemingly endless line of them had already entered the village. Faint cries, screams, and wailing drifted through the night. Behind Chen Ernu, Chen Sanshui was overturning chests and gathering valuables with trembling hands. "Father, run! We must flee while there is still time." A suffocating fury filled Chen Ernu's chest. He nearly lost his breath and fainted. He struck Chen Sanshui across the head. "Get out and inform the clan lord." Chen Sanshui stood frozen. Chen Ernu kicked him hard in the backside. The man wet himself as he stumbled out the door. Watching him flee, Chen Ernik felt the firelight spin around him, and a deep helplessness rose through his body. What a useless piece of trash. He steadied his emotions, went inside, and hauled his second son, Chen Shushui, out of bed. The young man had been sleeping like a dead pig. Grinding his teeth, Chen Ernu said. The clan lord noticed unusual movement to the west several days ago. Clan soldiers are stationed behind the village. Go and find out what is happening. Chen Shushui wandered around the room with sleep-clouded eyes. Chen Ernu became so angry that he wanted to beat him unconscious. He quickly closed his eyes and muttered to himself, "Do not rush. Do not rush. I still have Donghe." Only then did he draw his saber, throw on a coat, and charge out of the courtyard. Grinding his teeth, he slipped quietly through the alleys. "Clan Lord!" Li Xiangping slowly opened his eyes. Li Yisheng entered the courtyard covered in dust and looking thoroughly battered. He spoke in a grave voice. "The Western Shanyue are attacking Lichuan Pass." Li Xiangping's expression changed. He immediately rose, fastened armor around his body, and lifted the azure crowbow. Beside him, Chen Donghe skillfully tied the quiver into place. "What is the situation? How many men? Are there cultivators among them?" From the first reports, several hundred. No one was seen flying through the air. Li Yisheng had never cultivated, but he understood something of the division between realms. He had seen cultivators hunting demon beasts, and knew that most creatures forced to run along the ground were not truly terrifying. Li Xiangping and Li Tongya had also given clear instructions. Whenever the men encountered a person or demon beast capable of hovering in the air, they were to retreat into the mountains and report immediately. Thus, Li Yisheng understood that anything capable of flight was truly dangerous. Li Xiangping activated the swift movement art beneath his feet and commanded in a low voice, "Send men to summon Li Chuyang and Li Xuanyuan." He hesitated only for an instant. Li Tongya was in seclusion, and Li Xiangping chose not to disturb him. With a light step, he sped down the mountain. "Yesheng, bring the village soldiers to reinforce us afterward." Li Yesheng shouted in acknowledgement. Watching Li Xiangping vanish into the forest, he hurried away to summon the others. Li Xiangping raced along the road. As he neared Lichuan Pass, he heard war drums pounding from the encampment of 800 clan soldiers. Several centurions lingered nearby with troubled expressions. A man sat on the ground among them, covering his face and weeping. Li Xiangping glanced over and thought the man vaguely resembled Chen Ernu. He lightly tossed the jade command token in his hand and continued west. The centurions had already recognized him. The command token was merely a formality. They hurriedly led the clan soldiers after him, the force rustling through the forest toward Lichuan Pass. Only Chen Shui remained sitting blankly in the dust. He had understood almost nothing of what had happened in that brief moment. At last, he stood, brushed the dirt from his clothing, and looked from side to side, uncertain which direction he was supposed to take.